Very good. It's 1:30, so we'll begin the Liquor Control Committee for today. We have a few items on the agenda. Number one is to approve the minutes of the January 21st, 2026 regular meeting. If there are any changes or corrections, and Tatiana is joining us on the phone, correct? And so she's here. But if there are any changes or corrections, otherwise we'll accept a motion.
Make the motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Motion and a second. Any other changes or corrections? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2A, liquor license applications, instructions for filling out applications. And Angie will get us started on that one. Angie.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner and Liquor Control Board. So this is just an update. Currently, we are sending out quarterly applications. Michelle is currently working on sending out the ones that will, for the next quarter. We're trying to get them back in time so PD has enough time to check the background checks and all of that. But we're just really encouraging the industry or whoever's filling out the forms to please make sure that everything is completed. A lot of times we'll get them back into our office. They haven't signed it or they haven't completed the background check. And a big thing is Michelle sends out a form that lists the owners, lists the manager. If the person is not listed on there, please make sure to, we're asking the industry to please make sure to fill out a new manager form or a transfer, however, because we get a lot of those back as well. So then we have to send them back and then wait to get those back. A lot of times it's very short notice and then PD doesn't have enough time to get that background check back to us, which can delay the process for their liquor license renewal.
Angie, can I ask you a question? So we were doing the background checks, trying to catch up. How are we, are you still doing that where there's a process where we're doing a few each time?
Yeah, so we have split them into 4 quarters. It's gotten better, I think, with PD and us just working to make sure that all the forms are completed before we send them over to PD to be checked. So it's helped to split them up so that they're not as many at one time, but it's still a lot and it is very time consuming, especially having to send them back and forth.
So can I ask, in that process, how far are we? Have you done about half of them or 3/4, or as far as the number that, because we hadn't done them before and so we're kind of trying this.
Yeah, so everybody's done it at least once, so we're going back around again to do them annually.
But it's the same thing, even though you've done this now, but
Yes.
you just do, you don't do the full amount, you do a quarter at a time or something like that?
Yes,
Okay.
we have it split, so that's the quarter, each quarter, and then just different, they just have to make sure to send everything back as our main.
Okay. Very good.
Concern.
Any other comments or questions on that? Otherwise, we will move on to, Angie, do you have anything else? Otherwise, we'll move on if
No,
that's
I do not, no.
Okay. So we'll move to number 3. 3A is Police Department Monthly Report, the general report. And if you don't mind introducing yourself when you come up, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
You bet. Thank you. Lieutenant Nick Chunnis. I appreciate it. This month I have 6 incidents to report on, 4 of them being over-serving. The first incident, officers were called to an establishment where 2 males, 1 female had ordered drinks. The males left, so it kind of resulted as the call for service resulted in like a theft investigation. However, when officers arrived, they found the female to be overly intoxicated. They completed a liquor establishment check form. The second incident I will talk to you guys about today was a criminal incident at an establishment where a patron reported that a firearm was pulled on them. A criminal investigation was completed by our officers and criminal reports were completed in that incident. The third, in over-serving, a male came into an establishment. He was served 1 shot. When officers arrived, he was noted to be overly intoxicated. Staff reported serving him 1 drink, however, figured that he was more intoxicated than 1 serving would have made him. An additional incident where officers were called to an establishment where an individual had fallen over due to intoxication. As a result of that, there was a narcotics-related criminal report that was taken, and then the individual was transported to the hospital. This next incident is a little unique. Officers were called to an establishment by patrons where the store clerks were noted to be heavily intoxicated. One of them had difficulty standing and was vomiting. The other employee was also intoxicated, but not as bad. They weren't really sure about even the time of day. Anyway, the store was closed, and management was contacted in regards to that incident. And then lastly, another overly intoxicated individual, because of the injury sustained, officers had a hard time assessing how intoxicated the person was versus maybe effects of the injury when they were transported by ambulance.
Can I ask you a question? So there was one where individual just had one drink. Do you sometimes go back and use video? Because sometimes people consume, obviously, before they get to that. Can you tell a little bit how that process works?
Yes, and I believe it was the assessment of the officers on that call that the individual had consumed prior to arriving at the establishment and consuming the one shot. On that note, it was employee initiated that we responded there, so they were proactive. So I don't know if the effects of the alcohol consumed prior to arrival or not, but it was the one shot that they were served at the establishment.
And so, obviously, not to get into too many specifics, but you can go back and look at the record as to how many were served to that customer, and so so it's something. And obviously, some calls are by the establishment, and some are not. And so, I guess, would you consider that a positive thing?
I would consider it a positive thing that staff reached out in concern for the individual that appeared overly intoxicated. Absolutely.
Very good. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bob.
I have a quick question for the lieutenant. In the over-serving category, if you feel that the person was not overconsumption but over-served, what is the process that starts that would bring that to possible liability to the bar?
I don't know if you're able to speak to that a little bit better.
I can jump in on that. So this summer, the state enacted some legislation, specifically 5-0210, that talked about the time restrictions that a violation has to be brought to either the Attorney General or the local governing body. They made it 14 days from the alleged violation, which really is a tight.
Can you move your microphone just a little bit closer to you? And you can bend it down so we can hear you a little bit better. Thank you.
So the Century Code section that we're concerned about is 5-0210. It talks about a 14-day requirement for the governing body to bring a violation forward. And that's really limited the city's ability to enforce these liquor violations, because 14 days happens so fast from the time of violation until we could potentially hear it at the Liquor Control Board and then the City Commission. There's been some discussion with the city attorney, Ian McLean, and Nancy Morris on, do we contact the Attorney General or do we go some other route to see what our options are? But this statute has really made us concerned about how we bring these violations forward. If we can't bring the violations forward, we're left with criminal options, which we really don't want to pursue, especially in the over-serving. We're looking to go after the businesses, not the users of the alcohol. So there's more to come on that, and hopefully we'll find a path to enforce these actions.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, thank you very much for the report.
Thank you, guys.
Very good. And next up is an update on the Skydine. And after that, if you could have one of your representatives come up and introduce your group, if you don't mind. And if you use that microphone, then we can hear what you're saying. So go ahead, Angie, you can go first, and then they'll come.
Okay, all right, thank you. So last meeting we met, or Skydine presented for their liquor license to, be throughout the whole terminal at the airport. So we did meet with Skydine. It was a smaller meeting, but we had, I think it was a productive meeting. They have to give us a new plan that has a new map, and then show us how they're going to provide security throughout the airport before we can move forward. So there's no action needed or anything today, just that they are currently running out of their temporary location. And Nancy did speak with them today, or with their attorney, and she said there's no updates as of today. They haven't provided a new map to me or anything, just that temporary map, so.
And I was at that meeting. It was very productive, and law enforcement was there, and so I think it was very good. There were some things that we got cleared up, and the good thing is they have a temporary one for now, and so That's kind of the process, and there's still some things we need to clarify, and so we're kind of in the process of doing that. But it was a good meeting, and there was quite a few people there, and so different groups got a chance to speak, and so I thought it was very good. So thank you for. It was a little bit confusing because nobody really knew who was supposed to start the meeting.
Yeah.
So, but it was very very productive, and so thank you. And would you say what's your timeline as far as how you think it will go?
I'm not sure. They did tell us that they don't need it until they're completely open, which I believe is 2027. But I would like things to move more quickly. If we need to look at coming up with a different license or what their plan is. So I would prefer it sooner than later.
Right, and the other thing is that Skydyne is going to be the holder of the license, and so there was a lot of things that came to light that they weren't really sure about, and so there's a lot of things that we need to get more clarified before, and then, like you said, to have the floor plan and all those, and the security plan, there are some things, so I'm very happy that we don't have to rush this.
Yes.
That's a good sign, so,
Yep,
very good.
yes, thank you.
Any other updates or any other questions on that? Otherwise, if you wouldn't have somebody, don't be shy, just one of you, if you would just come up and introduce, just say who your group is and what you're doing, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Hi, we're from NDSU Nursing. We are here on behalf of our public health course. We are learning about policy implementation and its relevance to nursing and how we can make an impact.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate you being here. To give you an example, we have the card readers now in our bars, and so that's something new, and it's voluntary, but it's a very beneficial thing, especially for helping to keep minors out of the bars, and it also, from the liability of the bar owners, it's an important thing too. So hopefully you learned something new, maybe you didn't, but thank you for coming, and we appreciate going into nursing. That's obviously an awesome profession, so thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to your group, too, for being here. Don't say go Bison, come on now, that the UND people are going to be offended in the back of the room, so. Okay,
We'll get the hockey team.
anything else to add? Very good, that's it for today, thank you, everybody, we are adjourned, have a good afternoon.